right, Maria and Langhorne used to be an old mowing customer actually. Scope of work, I'm going to start in the backyard here by the gate while I walk around the whole house. But scope of work is going to be typical bush trimming, bed cleanup, edging, mulch install. So starting over here, they said end of March, early April ideally, time frame. So could pretty much use your judgment with all the trimming. They didn't walk specifically. They didn't seem very like nitpicky with it. So, just use your judgment and kind of check out upon completion. But so I would just lightly prune and shape this. It's starting to get a little bit close, to the house. So definitely give it some room. Just give it somewhat of a shape, kind of trim up. If these are in pots, I would just move them or, take care of them, get them out of the way or whatever. Would probably lightly prune this back. I would take it about a third down, trim and shape it back. This you can cut back fairly dramatically because that should spring back. I would say probably like half cutting this back. There's another one here. Maybe that one cut back like a third. You get an azalea back there. Lightly prune the azalea. You can kind of cut this back, cut that flat. Same thing here, cut that flat. Can lightly prune these, just a light touch up. Probably, I won't put it in there, but maybe take a string trimmer to any growth growing in their walkway and then clean that up at the same time. A little bit of mulch around this tree here. Do your best to try to edge it out a little bit. They want to first cut and mow. Trimming's been neglected, edging's been neglected, so I told them we'll have to upcharge for the first cut. Moving here, I would barely even touch this, honestly. Maybe just a light trim up. I wouldn't go crazy. It looks fairly shaped already. Clean out the beds, edge it, weed it. You can cut that back down a little bit if you can get it. Cut that down flat a little bit more if you can get it, if anything. Or if you can't really cut it, you can leave it alone. It's already cut pretty low. Nothing crazy here, same thing. Maybe just lightly prune up. Maybe just kind of get it off the house or off the shed a little bit, and then mulch there. All right. Moving to here. For this one, I would just trim it just to kind of get away from the edge of the mulch bed, and then kind of get it off of the patio a little bit. Probably don't got to go too crazy with trimming anything here, just getting it away from the edges. Rose bushes, so definitely want some thicker gloves for this. And this is where they talked about these get crazy out of control, so I would cut them back fairly dramatic. Hopefully when we get here they haven't started blooming at all. That was kind of their concern, but trim them back fairly dramatic, give them separation between the different rose bushes. Try to get them close to like the same height if you can, and then again, most importantly, just kind of give them a shape and then give them separation between the two, and then also try to get them trimmed back into the mulch bed. It looks like these probably haven't been trimmed in a while because they're pretty big. But again, try to get it out of the mulch bed, get it, it's not in the walkway completely yet, but just give it enough clearance to get away from that. These I would cut back probably about a foot or so at least, all the way around, and then shape it. Trim these back probably about 6 inches. They're kind of getting intertwined a little bit, which is okay because they're so close anyway, but I would try to trim it back maybe 6 inches all the way around. Same thing there, probably 6 inches. Those tall grasses, if you can cut them down a little lower maybe, but they look like they were already trimmed. And then this one, just want to trim the stuff that's getting into the walkway. Maybe try to get along the top, kind of top it to bring it in, and then trim it off the fence again. A lot of this is use your judgment, self-explanatory for the most part. All right, and then move it to the front. This should be all the neighbors, so don't worry about that. All this needs a pretty good cut back. It's not rose bush. I don't know exactly what it is, but trim it all up, clean up the beds. You're not going to be able to add a lot of mulch here because it looks like it's already fairly heavy. You're probably going to have to take a good bit away. As you can see, it's already like kind of washing onto the walkway. The azalea needs more of a probably cleanup of the dead stuff, like a good rake out. And then when you go to trim it, I wouldn't go bonkers with it, but more give it like that umbrella cut type of deal. And then I would just trim the stuff that's like, you know, that funky one that's sticking out, kind of shape up, but more give it a little bit of an umbrella look. You know, bed cleanup. You do the first cut too. Just try to hook them up with the edges a little bit. I wouldn't go like totally insane since they're not going to be a weekly mowing customer, but here, like trim back, same deal. Got a rose bush here, give it separation with the other, trim up, and then getting up into here, you do have this ground cover, which they'll obviously want to keep. You can trim that back pretty good. Do your best to clear out the area of weeds, like, you know, these hostas you can keep, but like the other stuff, like you got some crabgrass growing in here, other weeds, clean all that out. A lot of weeds growing in here. Clear all that out. Do your best to clear out the weeds growing through the rocks. They don't look terrible yet, but depending on when we come out, I'm sure it'll be much worse. So I'll account for that. But you know, move them, weed them out, spray it. And then all of this is really like crabgrass. Like none of these are plants. So you can just, I mean, that's like a tulip or something, but all this other stuff, crabgrass, so you can pull all that out, clear all that out. You know, trim that the same as the other ones. Wouldn't touch this tree. I wouldn't touch that tree unless they say something. Light trimming of these, light trimming of these. And then this guy, you could cut this back a pretty good amount, like probably almost down to where it's been cut in the past. Crepe myrtle here. So you can pretty much cut it down to where you see the thick branches are. You can see where this thick branch is, and then it goes thin. Cut it all the way down to the thick stuff. And then that's it.